about what you notice and what you wonder from the letter that we got from the ornithologist, and you're writing about what you notice and what you wonder about the pictures. Okay, so this is for module. Okay, so I already read the ornithologist letter, and in the video you can click on the link in the video below, and it's going to have a video of a teacher actually reading the ornithologist letter and giving you an example of what you're going to need. So I'm going to show you an example of what you can do. I've already read it and I looked at the pictures. So it says on your paper, something I noticed. Let's quickly go over what those two words mean. What does that word notice mean, and what does that word wonder mean? The word notice means it's something that you observed, something that you saw. And it's also something that you already know. So maybe you're making connections. You're making connections to something you already know in the past that you've learned about, and you're like, oh, that reminds me of this. And then you have the other word, wonder. Remember, that word wonder is something that you would like to know. It is questions that you would like to ask people, teachers, ornithologists, the experts about these questions. So I have a notice and I have a wonder of the pictures. So I'm going to write my sentence down here. On your page it says something I notice and something I wonder. It gave you some sentence frames. We use sentence frames in school as well. Something I notice So something I noticed while looking at the pictures is, I wrote it down here, is I noticed that the nests were made out of sticks. So I wrote, something I noticed is the nests are made of sticks. Something I wonder, a question that I have is, so I'm going to write something I wonder is how we can take care of birds. How can we take care of birds? So in our letter, the ornithologist is telling us that she studies birds and she has learned a lot about them, and she wants us to help her take care of birds. But what exactly does she mean? How can we take care of those birds? That is for module lesson. For module lesson, you are writing something that you noticed and something that you wonder. Remember, yours has to be a little bit different than mine. You have to come up with something that you noticed from the pictures, and you have to come up with something that you wonder about, or a question that you have. It might be to the ornithologist, it might be to me, it might be a general question. So that is for modules. Throughout this video, you may pause the video if you want to take a longer look at the examples that I'm doing as well. Now for skills. You guys learned a new thing. see this good. It's kind of slanted, so just trying to make sure you guys can view it. So you guys learned about suffixes. Suffixes are endings that can change the meaning of a word. So in your activity today that you have to do after you learn about suffixes is you have to use the Cycle 18 in your packet. You scroll all the way down to the pocket, and it's going to have some words that says Cycle 18. So right now we're starting Cycle 18, and we're learning about suffixes. So suffixes, like I said, they change the meaning of a word. So I have an example here that I want us to do together. I have the word bake. Bake is my base word without no changes. Base word means that's the first word, just the initial word without the suffix. So, bake is cocer. That means like estás cociendo un pan. That means that you're creating something like un panadero. So, bake is to bake an item like a cake, like a cupcake, something that you're going to put in the oven. So, my base word is bake. All right. In your activity, you have to use a pencil and a marker or a crayon if you do not have a marker. So you have to write the word in the list and find out which ones are a base word and which ones have a suffix at the end. So this one is a base word, so I'm keeping it all the same color of my pencil. Now the next one is bakes. This is a little bit different. Bakes. I can say, I bake a cake. But if I'm doing she bakes a cake, that means someone different is doing it. Usually the S means that it means more than one person, more than once it's happening, or means that someone else is doing it. So I'm going to change my S, because that's my suffix, into a different color so I can differentiate it. So I'm going to change that S into a blue color so I can differentiate it, and I know that's my suffix, this is my base word. Another way I want to write this word, I want to change it into baked. Alright, this is a little bit tricky because you have learned that sometimes the suffix takes part of the word of the base word, or it also deletes a letter or hides a letter when it's changing into the base word because of rules of vowels and different things like that. Well, this one, it took a letter from the base word. It took the E. My suffix here is ed or ed. So it sounds like a T, baked. Ed means that it already passed. So I could say, I baked a cake last Sunday. It already passed. I already did it. So I'm going to change my suffix into a different color. That's my suffix, ed. Now the last one that you're learning about is ing. That means it's happening. It's an action that's going on. Baking. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, baking. So my base word, I can kind of start to see it here, but what happened to the E? Remember I said sometimes because of the vowels, there's two vowels, so this E changes to an I. So now it is ing. I'm going to change that into a marker, different color. Baking. So today for skills block, you have to look at the list of cycle 18 and with a different color in the suffixes, okay? So I changed them with my marker S. Remember the suffixes we're learning about is S, ed, and ing. So anytime you see those, use a different color or a different marker to go over it. Practice reading the words as well. All right, and the last one is about social studies. So we usually don't do social studies in class, but there's